Every time we start, you're playing with your hair.
I was scratching the back of my head that time.
You just have so much of it.
I do have a lot. Was I wearing this shirt last time?
I'm Brad.
I'm Rach.
And our kids are in bed.
Yes.
And welcome back to our channel.
It was one of those days where we got them all in bed, and then it was like we just finished running our marathon.
It's true.
Our daily marathon.
It is definitely a marathon, not a sprint.
That's very true.
It's a sprint.
Did you make up that expression?
It's a sprint like right before bed.
It is a bit of a sprint right before bed.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way, I shouldn't say there's no way. It would be really difficult to do bedtime alone.
That stinks.
It would be really, really hard.
Good luck this fall.
Thanks.
I'm a reservist. That means at least 2 weeks a year I am gone. And Rachel's family lives around. Obviously her mom will be here, Aunt Lala will be around. It's just not the same when somebody else helps you.
No, and for 2 solid weeks, it's not like I'm gonna have somebody here every single night for bedtime. It just doesn't happen.
Right.
Everybody has their own lives, and I totally understand that. But yeah, the hardest part about you being gone last summer is, besides being 7 months pregnant and having twins, 1-year-old twins, was like every aspect of this household was held down by me too. So like after the kids go to bed, Brad does the dishes, I pick up. There's like kind of a flow that we have going, and with only one of us, all of it is on one person, and it's just a lot.
And unfortunately, Rachel's, well, I guess it's fortunate, Rachel won't use like paper plates and like paper cups and stuff like that, so it's just a heck of a lot more work.
Yeah, a lot more dishes, but that's what I've chosen.
That's the life I've chosen to live.
But,
all this working up to tell you that our topic is actually, it's gonna be our marriage.
Marriage.
With 3 kids under the age of 3.
Yep.
How old are the twins now? They were born in January of 2018.
Mm-hmm. So they're about 2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming up on 2.5. February, March, April, May, June, July. Yeah.
Right.
2nd of July. So if you're new though, you should subscribe.
And check out our other channel, which is our main vlog for the meat and potatoes of our family.
Yeah.
And you'll see our 3 amazing kids.
When we first started this channel, I thought it was hilarious that we would ever say like, if you're new here, check out our other channel, because everybody who watched this channel would have come from our main channel. There would have been no sending people the other way. But maybe somebody's here that doesn't know we have a family vlogging channel.
I doubt it. Well said.
Did you hear what he... Thanks. I'm so eloquently spoken.
And then our youngest is 8.5 months.
Yes, her name's Eloise. She was a total surprise baby after we did IVF for the twins. So, enough about that. Let's talk more about marriage in the brunt of raising and rearing 3 very small children.
What's the divorce rate for twin parents? It's high.
I don't know exactly what.
It's high.
Mm-hmm.
And we can totally understand why.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We've never, before kids, we never really had
we never argued.
I could probably count on one hand the amount of times we argued.
Mm-hmm.
Now we argue like 4 times a day.
Ish.
At least.
Ish. Some days it's 4, and some days it's like 14.
And then some days we just don't talk to each other, so then we don't argue.
Yeah, Brad, and that's saying something, because Brad's really good at diffusing an argument.
Yeah,
I would call it sweeping it under the rug.
Yeah, but Rachel won't let me do that anymore.
Well, there's things that need to be talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we should divide this topic up into a few buckets regarding marriage with 3 kids under 3.
Okay.
So I would call it like our personal marriage, where we go on dates and our intimacy, and
that'll take about 3 seconds.
So there's not that. Just kidding. We don't date near as much as we should. That's something we should probably be really...
We should put our marriage first.
Yeah, we should probably be...
That's a heck of a lot easier said than done when you have 3 under 3.
I know. Intentional. We need to be more intentional about that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we used to, well, for like a month, once a week, we would grab a bottle of wine and we would ask each other the same 4 questions.
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore.
Nope, but we should.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to have a bottle of wine.
No.
It just is about touching base, and they were good questions. I don't even remember what they were, but they were good.
Yeah,
like how can I pray for you?
Pardon me.
Oh, are you tired?
I shouldn't be.
Whatever.
What's something that you're proud of or something? Yeah.
We don't really do that anymore. We do try to golf. Now we're trying to get back into that.
We've done that 3 times now.
Yep.
Which is awesome.
It is awesome. If we had a routine, and this is something that I learned from Jordan Page in their family calendar planning thing, is that weekly or bi-weekly or every other week or monthly or whatever, you schedule a time that you do a date, and then you alternate who plans it. And that is already blocked off, and you already have help lined up for your kids.
So they got a babysitter, obviously.
Right. It would just be part of Carrie's schedule that like every other Friday we do this at this time. And then if that week you look ahead at the week and you can't do it, then you don't. If you have any type of system like that, please let us know, because we obviously could use some work there.
What's the next bucket?
The next bucket I would call, we didn't hit intimacy, do you want to?
No.
Okay, the next bucket I would call, so I feel like a big chunk of our marriage right now is how we are unified in our parenting.
Okay.
And that takes a lot of conversation, usually heated.
Yeah, Rachel gets really upset if I'm not disciplining our children enough. And she feels like she has the brunt of the grunt.
I have the grunts.
She has the grunt of the discipline.
So I don't think it's necessarily just disciplining our kids. I think it's more like Brad lets them get away with things that I don't. I guess that is discipline. More like boundary setting. So like when the kids are swimming outside, when they're in the sun, I require them to have a sun top on when they're swimming. And Brad will just let them swim naked. But then like when I'm with them alone, I have to make them wear a sun top after they know Dad doesn't make them wear a sun top, and it just makes the whole thing more of a fight. Then it's a given that we wear a sun top when we're swimming. Unless Dad's around, and then we don't have to wear a sun top when we're swimming. Like
Right.
stuff like that.
Yeah, and so things like that for me are like very situational. So like if we have the giant umbrella over the pool, then I'm like,
It's not as big of a deal.
yeah, they're like, well, you don't need to wear your swim top. But what I need to realize is that if Rachel's home alone and we don't have the umbrella up and the kids have to wear their sun tops, then they're gonna throw a big stink.
Yeah. It's also like the Belvitas. Like you give them Belvitas every single day. And I try not to give them Belvitas because for one, it's bad for the environment to eat a ton of prepackaged foods. And for two, they're more expensive. For three, it's healthier to just eat stuff that we have prepared. I have fruit and cut up and stuff like that. So,
yeah, but the thing is, so like when I'm home and I take the twins, like it's just like me on the golf cart with the twins or me on my bicycle with the twins. They can't be just like eating a bowl of fruit.
well,
like if we're on the bicycle.
They don't have to have a snack on the bicycle.
Well, yeah, they do need to have a snack because it's like 10:30, and then if they don't have a snack, they're an SHT show at like 11.
Totally agree. But if it were me, I would just have them sit down and eat a snack.
Right.
And then we would go on a bike ride.
Yeah, and for me, I'd rather just get on the bike and go and just give them a Belvita.
Right. So what ultimately ends up happening is Brad gives them the fun snack. Like they go to him for Belvitas and Twizzlers and fruit snacks and all that stuff, and I'm the mean parent. It just it naturally boils down to he's the fun parent. I'm the parent that they hate, and it's exhausting. So that's what I'm saying about like it's a constant conversation that we have to be having, and I don't know that we'll ever really, we're just gonna have to get past this phase of life because it's just not gonna.
Yeah, it's funny how some things are like super important for like a month.
Yes.
And then they're not anymore.
And then it's like you forgot you ever even cared about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. But like those little examples that we gave, there's a dozen more that are just like that are, I don't know, it just wears on you day in and day out. So that's probably the biggest, all of this to say, that's probably the biggest strain in our marriage right now, is like us trying to get on the same page about how we're parenting this stage. This stage is arguably like critical for like what kids we end up having down the road,
like
too.
Future civilized people.
Humans, yes. Like, you should describe dinner tonight.
Like our almost 2.5-year-olds just like didn't want to sit in their chairs for dinner. They probably weren't hungry because they just had a bunch of Cheez-Its at like 5:30.
That's another one.
But
How close to dinner time we have snacks.
But I wasn't the one that gave them the Cheez-Its.
Who gave them Cheez-Its?
Your mother. But it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
The twins just like didn't want to sit still or like sit in their chairs. They were like under the table and in the living room and to the bathroom, and like they just didn't want to sit at the table for dinner. So I had to get after them.
Right. It's tough though, because it's like that seems like it's happening more and more, and I'm realizing that we're sitting here at dinner, and the entire time we're at dinner we're like, you guys need to sit down and eat your dinner. Like, you need to sit down. Of course they would rather play. They're 2.5 years old, but we need some type of boundary around at dinner time. You sit at the table until we're done, and then you ask to be excused. And that's gonna take like consistency of us working with them every single time we eat down. Every single time we sit down for a meal and eat, that boundary needs to be in place. We can't have one dinner where we're like, okay, just go play with your fire truck because he's not hungry because he had Cheez-Its. You know, it's like, that's something we need to be consistent on. Like, otherwise I'll be the one yelling at them every single time, or you'll be the one yelling at them every single time. It got much harder when they grew out of their booster seat and they don't have straps anymore.
Yeah, we don't strap them in anymore, unfortunately.
We threaten to.
every dinner period we threaten to strap them in.
Right. It's funny though, because then Brad will say something like, Bear, if you don't sit down, you're gonna have to go to bed or something. But then like you'll never make good on that.
I would have made him go to his room if he didn't get better.
Really?
Yeah, of course. I'm not against timeouts now. Like, if they need
some time.
Yeah, like if they're not listening,
right, then
obviously what we're doing is not working. We're all about positive reinforcement. But there's a breaking point that if it's not working, then you need to go.
There needs to be some type of repercussion.
Exactly.
Besides a natural consequence. Because most of the time there are natural consequences. But in a situation like that, if they didn't eat and then they were hungry later, the natural consequence would be that they were just hungry. But we would cave and give them a snack because they would turn into a meltdown.
Yeah, it wouldn't be worth it.
It wouldn't.
Well, and can they understand like cause and effect? Oh, I didn't eat dinner and now it's 8:30 and I'm hungry.
Right.
Like, are they smart enough to comprehend that?
Yeah, I don't know. I like how our marriage episode turned into parenting.
Yeah, well,
that's what our marriage is about.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, that's all it is.
That's pretty much it.
But yeah, I could definitely understand why there's a higher divorce rate with multiples.
Oh, for sure. We were just talking the other night about how this whole stage where it's so important and critical that we're on the same page as parents and we're setting the same boundaries, the same like consistency, and to the same extent. We're setting those boundaries where we don't budge on them together as a team. We don't budge on them. What was I talking about when I started saying that?
That tonight we were talking about how it's just a phase and it's not going to last very long.
How much easier it would be if there were only one kid that you were having to...
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, like if we only had one kid that we were trying to develop these boundaries, that would be so much easier. Just like every stage, if we just had one kid that would wake up in the night potentially.
I love meeting other parents that have twins because it's like, you understand.
Yes. It's just so funny how, like you said, what we worry about this week is totally different than what it's gonna be next week. As they get older, the phases last maybe a little bit longer, but people are so right about how each phase is hard in a different way. Like, I can see how this phase is difficult, but I'm still...
The terrible twos.
I'm still enjoying the heck out of it, and I don't think that they're terrible either. I hate that term.
I know you do.
I hate it.
But that's what it's called.
I know. But they're just trying to learn how to be a human. And it's our job to teach them.
And they're just not very good at it.
The way they learn what's right, the way they learn about what they can and cannot do is to push the boundaries. Their job is to test the boundaries. Our job is to keep the boundaries in place. That's it.
And
We're the boss.
It's a tiring job.
You're doing a really good job, honey.
Ditto, honey.
You're a really good dad.
And you're a really awesome mother.
Thank you. I love watching you, Dad.
I love watching you, Mom.
I love watching you, Dad, more than you love watching me, Mom.
All right. Hit that subscribe button. We have some fun topics coming up.
We do.
And have a great week.
And we'll see you next time.
We'll see you Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.